What's up everybody, we're back. Honeymoon phase is over and this is not a sponsored video, so I'm going to tell you my honest opinions about this guitar from Fesley. And if you think I'm going to say anything radically different about this guitar because it's not a sponsored video, how dare you? You'd be wrong. I have no interest in lying about things based on whether a video is sponsored or not. I'm going to tell you what I think about it either way. If companies don't agree to that, I don't put their products on my channel. Companies that send me gear to review don't get to see the content before it gets out there. That's just the way I want to run things. And if people don't want to work with me that way, well, it's just not worth my time. And if I get something and I really don't like it and wouldn't recommend it, I just won't put it on this channel. I'm not here to bash companies or gear or anything like that. I'm only really going to show you stuff I like. And I will point out things I don't like, but it's not going to be a deal breaker. There are deal breakers, I just won't put it on this channel. And with all that being said, I still really like this guitar a lot. I like the look of it, I like the feel, I like how thin it is, I like how the finish is different than every other guitar back there. Every other guitar has like a glossy finish, this is like a matte flat finish, which I really appreciate. I like the dark wood of the neck, and I like the flat look of the back here. I think it sounds nice. I think the output of the pickups is a little lower, so it's just not gonna be as high gain as some of your more like metal guitars. I didn't measure them, I don't have my multimeter on me, but I would say they're like mid output. Great for crunch, great for clean, great for metal too. It's just, they're not gonna be like super high output. These pickups are not EMGs, they are not active pickups, they're just normal, passive humbucker pickups that have covers on them. I know that might look a little misleading, but that's all they are. I don't like about the way it looks is first this Fesley inlay. The inlays look cool, but the fact that the inlay is on the fretboard is a little bit much. You already have Fesley on the headstock, you have the logo, Fesley on the pickups, you have Fesley on the tuners as well. Just seems like a bit overkill to have it on the inlay as well. I think it's a bit unnecessary. Obviously, it's not a deal breaker, that's just my preference. And one maybe unpopular point of view that I have, I would say a lot of people are very brand conscious in the sense that they attribute value to brands. So they might be kind of condescending and look down on you if you have more affordable gear. Squires, Epiphones, Behringer, whatever. So if you have a more affordable guitar, the less branding on it, I think the better. Then I think less people are worried about it. Less people are gonna be like, oh, he's playing a cheap guitar. I personally don't care. I have a rack full of cheap guitars. There's Squires, there's Epiphones, there's no-name guitars over there. There's a First Act guitar. There's a guitar from Pottery Barn, Guitar Fetish guitar. So I don't own expensive guitars. I don't use expensive guitars. Doesn't matter to me, but it does matter to some people. So if you're gonna slap your affordable logo all over this guitar, it's gonna be very obvious that this is an affordable guitar. And that might turn some people off. Doesn't affect how it sounds or how it plays at all. It's all just preference. And one thing that's not really gonna be avoidable is like that belt buckle rash on the back. I wear a lanyard and a badge at work most of the time, so whenever I pick this up, that's gonna be scratching there. So I have scratched up the back a bit. It's not too obvious, but I don't think that stuff's gonna buff out. And then you see it on the covers as well. Those are really scratched up. So it's just something to be aware of, that this doesn't really hide scratches very well. I doubt the front will hide scratches either, but I haven't scratched that one up yet, so I'll have to let you know if I ever do that. I think all the hardware is really solid. The setup is actually the most amazing part. And I hope that all the other Fesley guitars are set up like this as well. So I have heard that some of the Fesleys had very sharp fret ends, which is not uncommon on affordable guitars, but that does make people not want to play the guitar. It adds another step that you have to do in order to get the guitar playable. And if you're a beginner, which these guitars are kind of aimed at that market, you're not going to want to put in the work to do it, most likely. This guitar has nice smooth fret ends, so I hope all the other ones do too. They did set it up, and they have this inspection card that came with the guitar, and it has the action height for the whole guitar. The low E is at 2 millimeters and the high E is at 1.5 millimeters, which is a really low action. I think that's the lowest action out of all my guitars. Like when I set up guitars, I try to aim for that 2 to 2.5 millimeters on the low E. I'm not very good at setting up guitars though, so it doesn't always quite get there. This one does it. I don't have any high frets anywhere. Everything plays well. It sounds good. I think the setup is great for anybody who wants to just pick up a guitar and go. And at that price, that's awesome. So hopefully they're putting in a little bit time in the setup phase to really set this guitar up nice and to smooth out those fret ends. And I think I got this idea from Orangewood guitars, but a lot of people stop playing guitar because the beginner range guitars are too hard to play. They usually have high action and rough fret ends, and that really doesn't make playing the guitar very enjoyable, let alone learning the guitar. Especially if you're building those fretting hand calluses. You don't want to have to add rough fret ends to that too, it's hard enough. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Orangewood has all their guitars made in an affordable way, and then those guitars get sent to Orangewood techs where they smooth out the fret ends and they set the guitar up and they change the strings to some nice Ernie Ball strings. So you have a guitar at an entry-level price that's set up well so beginners can play better. And beginners will be less likely to put it down because it's easier to play and learn. Orangewood, if you happen to watch this, send me one of those Oliver guitars. They look awesome and I would buy one, but I have enough guitars. I can't justify buying any more guitars. I'm actually gonna be selling a bunch of those guitars, which means I need to do a guitar tour video before I sell them. Busy day. But that concept, I hope, is what you're getting here. Affordable guitar that's set up well. So hopefully The setup is not the reason why somebody would put this down. As far as the intonation goes, I have no issues with it. It could probably be tweaked a little bit, but all I've done is tune this guitar. This guitar is in standard tuning. It's set up for that. If you're going to go to a different tuning, like E flat or something, you will have to do a complete setup on it. I tried it. It didn't go well. It's set up for E standard. But your open chords. Nice and clean and in tune. Which I think that's the more important intonation than anything up here. But I'm more of a rhythm player, so I'm gonna care about what the chords sound like up here than anything up here. One more thing I do want to talk about that is kind of a negative aspect of this guitar is that it is made in China. I had a lot of comments saying this was an ESP knockoff. You're probably right. This isn't the first or last knockoff guitar. I didn't talk about that in the original video. I didn't really think that was relevant because I was just reviewing the guitar. But if that is important to you and you just want stuff that's made in the USA or whatever country you're from, then skip this one. But if your country is anything like the USA, anything US made is going to be very, very expensive. That's just the reality of it. I would like to wear Origin blue jeans, but look at the prices for that. Guitars are the same way. And this guitar isn't aimed at people looking for that. If you're looking for that stuff, there's plenty out there. But if that's out of your price range, this is here. And anything from Grote, and anything from Firefly, and Squire, and Epiphone. It's hard to ignore reality. Most things are made in China. And if you don't want to buy stuff that's made in China, then go ahead. Like, I don't feel good about it. Like, yes, it's a guitar made in China. Awesome. I just think it's a good guitar that was made in China. And that's fine. If that's a deal breaker for you, I get it. Enjoy it. But it's still a good guitar. And I think that's all I got for this video. If you have any questions or feedback, leave a comment. I'm not famous enough to ignore your comments just yet. And I hope you come back to my channel for more music related videos. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.